The rain always falls when I go out to kill. Not sometimes. Always. As if the sky knows. As if it's washing the world clean before I stain it again. My name is Draven. I am 29 years old, and I have killed more people than I can count, because my master taught me that counting is weakness. Tonight is my last contract. One more soul. One more heart to still. And then I am free. The target is simple. A woman on a floating ship. They call her a queen. They say she carries something inside her, a core of light, the last of its kind. I am to take it from her chest and bring it home. Simple. But when I climb onto that deck through the storm, I find the screams have already started. Something else got here first. Something with too many limbs and not enough mercy. And then I see her. She is kneeling, holding a small child behind her. Her hands are empty. She looks up at me, soaked, bleeding, exhausted, and she does not run. She says, "Kill me quickly. Don't let the little one see." I have killed hundreds. I have never hesitated, but my blade does not move. And in that single heartbeat, that one cursed, impossible heartbeat, everything I thought I was begins to die. I stand at the prow of a small black skiff, cutting through black water under a black sky. My two twin blades rest against my hips, sheathed but humming. I can feel them. I always can. Master Vorlanth says that's because they have become part of me. He says a true blade does not belong to the hand. The hand belongs to the blade. I was 9 years old when he found me. I don't remember much. Only smoke. Only a voice that wasn't mine, humming a song I half remember. Only the feeling of being pulled out from under something heavy. Floorboards, maybe. Then nothing. Then him. A tall man with cold eyes and a colder voice. He said, "Stand up, boy. The world has no use for those who lie down." I stood up. I have been standing ever since. For 20 years, I have done what he asked. I have killed men in their beds. I have killed women in their gardens. I have killed soldiers and lords and traitors and children of traitors. Master Vorlanth taught me that counting was weakness, so I do not count, but I remember every face, every last breath. Tonight is my last. One more contract, one more soul. And then I am free. That is what he promised me. The skiff bumps against the hull of the floating ship. I look up. The vessel is enormous, a wooden city drifting on calm, dark water, lit by lanterns that swing in the storm. I can already smell the blood. Something is wrong. Smoke, screams, the clash of metal that has no rhythm to it. Whoever is fighting up there is not fighting like soldiers. They are fighting like cornered animals. A second figure climbs onto the skiff beside me. Hooded. Smaller than me. Faster. You feel it too, she says. Thessa. 27. My only friend. If a man like me can have friends. We were trained together. We bled together. Once when we were 16, she saved my life by lying to Master Vorlanth, and we never spoke of it again. I feel it, I say. Something got here before us. I nod. I draw one blade, then the other. Thessa watches me. The rain runs down her face like she is crying, but she is not. She never cries. I once asked her why. She said, because someone has to remember the names. She remembers. I do not. That is the only difference between us. Draven. What? After this, you really walk away? I do not answer. Because I do not know how to answer. Because freedom is a word I have practiced in my mouth for 20 years and still cannot taste. She nods like I gave her an answer anyway. Then she climbs. I follow. The deck is a slaughter. I have seen battlefields. I have walked through rooms still warm with what came out of people. But this is something else. The guards of the floating ship are scattered like broken dolls. Some are still moving. Some are not. The wood is slick. The lanterns sway. And in the smoke I can see them. The bipedal monsters. I do not know what to call them. None of us do. They came from the Deadlands 2 winters ago, and they have been hunting ever since. They walk on 2 legs, but they are not men. Their arms are too long. Their mouths open wider than mouths should open. They do not speak. They only hunt. And tonight, they are hunting the same thing I am. Because, of course they are. I move. I do not think when I move. Master Vorlanth trained the thinking out of me long ago. My body knows what my body is for. The first monster does not see me until I am already past it. The second one sees me and does not have time to understand. The third one screams. The scream is wet, and it cuts off before it finishes. Thessa is behind me, mirror to my left blade flashing in the lantern light. We move through the deck like a single shadow with 2 edges. A guard staggers toward me, holding his stomach in with one hand. He looks at me. He thinks I am help. He says something. I do not hear it. I step around him and keep going. He falls behind me. I do not look back. This is not my problem. None of this is my problem. I have one target, one contract, one last name on the long list. And then I am free. We push through smoke and into a hallway. The wood here is wet with rain that has come in through holes in the roof. 5 guards stand at the end of the hall. Maybe 6. They are wounded. They are tired. They are guarding a door. I know what is behind that door. I do not slow down. The guards see me. They lift their weapons. Their faces are afraid, and that is good, because afraid men move slower than men who know they are already dead. I do not enjoy this. I do not feel anything about this. I have not felt anything in a very long time. It is over quickly. When I look up from the last one, Thessa is leaning against the wall. There is blood on her side. Not hers. Or some of it is hers. She catches my eye. I'm fine. You're not. I said I'm fine. I look at her for one breath longer. She nods. I nod back. That is how we say things that matter. I push the door. The room is small. There is a single lantern hanging from a chain. The light is amber soft, almost gentle, which is wrong for a place this is about to become. There are 2 figures inside. A woman, kneeling, and a child behind her. The woman looks up. She is young, 25 maybe. Hair dark and wet from the rain that has come through the broken ceiling. A long, simple dress soaked through. Her hands are open at her sides, palms turned up empty. She is not holding a weapon. She is not reaching for one. Behind her, a small girl. 7 years old perhaps, brown hair tangled, clutching the woman's dress with 2 tight little fists. The woman sees the blood on me. She does not look surprised. She looks tired. She looks like someone who has been waiting for me her whole life. Result, I hear myself think before I have even confirmed the name. The contract said Iseult, the last queen of the Aelinor people, the carrier of the core. Her eyes are not the eyes of a queen. They are the eyes of a mother. Behind her, the little girl peeks around her hip. She has Iseult's eyes, not the same color, the same softness. 2 pools of brown, wide, and afraid, and yet when they land on me, they do not look away. They do not flinch from me. They study me, as if she is trying to decide what I am. Children always know. That is why I never look at them. I look away from her. I look at the woman. I lift my blade. She does not move. She does not beg. She only watches me, and her hands stay open at her sides, like she is offering me something instead of refusing me. She speaks. Her voice is hoarse and quiet, and the language is mine, though her accent is strange. Make it quick. I do not answer. I never answer. Please. She swallows. Her throat moves. Please, don't let the little one see. The world stops. I have heard 1,000 last words. I have heard begging. I have heard cursing. I have heard prayers in tongues I do not understand. I have heard one man laugh right before the end because his joke was finally finished. I have never heard this. She is not asking for her life. She is asking for the child, my hand. My hand is the part of me I trust most in the world. My hand has not failed me in 20 years. My hand has done what the rest of me could not bring itself to do. My hand belongs to the blade, and the blade belongs to my master. And that is the entire shape of who I am. My hand does not move. It just does not move. Outside, somewhere on the deck, something explodes. The floor under us shifts. Smoke pours in through the cracks in the wood. The little girl whimpers, and Iseult, without looking away from me, reaches one hand back to find the child's small fingers. She squeezes them. Once, like saying, I'm here. Stay where you are. A monster crashes through the wall behind me. I turn. Too slow. A long arm. A claw like a curved knife. It does not hit Iseult. It does not hit the child. It hits me. I feel the impact in my side before I feel the pain. Then the pain catches up, white and bright and very fast. I stagger. I cut sideways. The claw rips out of me and the monster screams. I take its head off without thinking because thinking has not yet caught up to what is happening. The ship lurches. The lantern swings wildly. I see in flashes Iseult on her feet, scooping the child up against her chest. The child's face buried in her shoulder. Iseult looking at me. Looking at the blood pouring out of my side. Looking at the gap where the monster came through. Where the deck is collapsing. Where the night is rushing in. She makes a decision. I do not understand what I am seeing. Not at first. She runs about a queen. Unarmed, holding a child. She runs at the man with the bleeding side and the 2 blades who came here to murder her, and she puts her free hand flat against my chest and she pushes. It is not a hard push, but the deck is already breaking, and I am already falling. The last thing I see, the absolute last thing, is her face lit by fire, looking down at me as I drop into the water with the wreckage. Her eyes do not look angry. They do not look triumphant. They look sorry. Then the rain. Then the sea. Then nothing. I should have died. I am very, very sure of that. When I open my eyes, the sky above me is gray. Not black. Gray, like the inside of a pearl. There is no rain. There is sand under my back. There is the slow, tired sound of small waves. There is a hand on my side. I cannot move yet. My body is heavy in a way I do not recognize. But I can see, and what I see is this: a young woman kneeling beside me in the sand. Her wet hair stuck to her face, her two hands hovering an inch above the open wound at my side. Her hands are glowing, soft, pale blue, like the underside of a candle flame. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, and I have seen almost nothing beautiful in my life. She is shaking, her whole body. Sweat is on her forehead. Her teeth are clenched. She is pouring something out of herself and into me, and it is killing her to do it. I make a sound. I do not mean to. She looks up. Our eyes meet. For one whole second, neither of us breathes. Then she pulls her hands back, fast, like she has been burned. She scrambles backward across the sand, and her glow flickers and dies, and she is just a woman again. A wet, exhausted, terrified woman, sitting in the sand, looking at me. I should kill her now. I am alive. The wound is still open, but the bleeding has slowed. My blades, I check, are still at my hips. Both of them. She did not even take them. She did not even take them. I sit up. The pain is bad. I do not let it show. She watches me. I reach for one blade. She does not move. She does not run. She just watches. Her hands rest in her lap, still trembling fingertips, faintly blue. And then her eyes roll back. She falls sideways into the sand. Out cold. Just like that. I sit there in the gray light on the wet sand, with one hand on my hilt and a queen unconscious at my feet. I stand up. It hurts. I do it anyway. I walk to her. I draw the blade. The metal catches the dim light. It is the same blade I always use, the same hand, the same arm, the same training, the same master somewhere far away, waiting for me to come home and place a small, bright core in his palm. This is the moment. This is the entire reason I came. I lift the blade, and behind me, something moves. I turn fast because turning fast is what I do. The blade is up. My body is already in the second stance, the one that comes after the killing stroke, the one that protects. It is a child, a small girl. Brown hair tangled full of sand, 7 years old. The same little girl from the ship, alive, wet, shaking. She is standing between me and the unconscious queen. She has put her tiny body between us. She holds her arms out, both of them palms up, the way I just saw the queen do on the ship. The same exact pose, as if she learned it from her. As if this is a thing they teach little girls in her people, how to die without weapons. She says something. Not in my language. I do not understand a single word, but I understand her face. She is asking me, begging me not to. Not to. Not to. Not to. I have killed children before. I do not say this proudly. I say this because it is true. Master Vorlanth said a sword is a sword, and a contract is a contract. He said the small ones grow into the big ones, and the big ones become the next contract. He said mercy is a habit, and habits are how you die. I have killed children before. My hand will not do it. It will not. I stand there, for I don't know how long. The blade in the air, the little girl with her arms out, the unconscious queen behind her in the sand, the sound of the slow, tired waves. The little girl does not lower her arms. She does not. I lower mine. I turn. I walk away from them. I walk down the beach, and I keep walking. And I do not look back. Because if I look back, I do not know what will come up out of me. And I am very afraid of what is in me right now. The island is small. I find that out within an hour. A narrow beach, dense green inside. A small spring of fresh water inland. A few low rocks. No people. No boats. No sign that anyone has ever lived here. We are nowhere. I find a place near the spring. I sit down. I press cloth against my side. The bleeding has almost stopped, but the wound is bad. Without her glow on me, I would be dead. I know this. I have seen enough wounds. She saved me. Twice now. Once on the ship by pushing me into the sea. Once on the beach by pouring her own light into me until she fainted. I came to kill her, and she has used the last of her strength twice to keep me alive. This is not how the world works. The world I know is very, very simple. Strong eats weak. Hunter eats hunted. The blade belongs to the master, and the hand belongs to the blade. This woman is breaking the world. I do not understand her. I do not understand why my hand will not move. I sit by the spring as the gray sky slowly turns dark. I do not light a fire. Fires draw eyes. Old habit. Old life. I think about Master Vorlanth. I think about what he will say when I do not come back. I think about Thessa. I think she might be dead. I think she probably is. And I find that I cannot quite hold the shape of that thought, because if I hold it for too long, something in my chest does something I do not have a word for. I press my palm against the wound, and I close my eyes. In the dark behind my eyelids, faces come. They always come. I have learned not to fight them. I have learned to let them pass through like guests in a house I do not own. The man with the gray beard, the woman in the green dress, the boy with the broken tooth, the merchant who begged, the merchant who didn't. Hundreds of them. Thousands, maybe. I do not count. Tonight, for the first time, there is something else behind my eyelids. There is a small girl with brown hair standing with her arms out. There is a young woman with glowing hands looking at me as her eyes roll back. There is a voice in my own language, hoarse and quiet, saying, "Don't let the little ones see." The faces of the dead are very loud in my head. I know how to live with them. But these two, these living two, they are louder. I do not sleep. In the morning I find them, not by trying. The island is small. I am walking the tree line for water, and there they are. The queen is woken up. She has built a tiny shelter of palm leaves between two rocks. The little girl is tucked inside it. The queen is sitting at the entrance with a sharp stick across her lap, watching the trees, watching for me. When she sees me, she does not stand up. She does not raise the stick. She just looks at me for a long second, and then she nods. Once. As if to say, I see you. I know who you are. I am still here. I do not nod back. I sit on a rock about 20 paces away. I rest my elbows on my knees. I watch her watch me. The little girl peeks out of the shelter. She sees me. She freezes. She does not scream. She does not cry. She watches me too. 3 pairs of eyes in the gray morning on a small, empty island at the edge of the world. This is not a fight. I do not know what this is. The day passes. We do not speak. She cannot speak my language well. I will learn this soon. The little girl knows a few of my words. I learned this too. But on this first day, no one says anything. I catch fish in the shallows. I am good at this because I am good at most physical things. I clean them. I split the catch. I put 2 of the fish on a flat stone in the middle of the beach, halfway between her shelter and where I have been sitting. Then I walk back and I sit down again. She watches me. After a long time, the little girl comes out of the shelter. She is barefoot. She has the queen's dark hair and a small round face and a way of holding herself that is too careful for a 7-year-old. She walks slowly to the flat stone. She picks up the fish. She runs back to the shelter and disappears inside. The queen never takes her eyes off me, but she lets the child come. She lets the child accept the fish. That is the first thing. The next day, the little girl is bolder. She sits on the sand halfway between us, eating a piece of cooked fish I have left for her. She is not afraid of me, not the way she should be. She watches me with her enormous eyes, and after a while she says one word in my language. Fish. It is the only word. I almost laugh. Almost. The sound that comes out is not a laugh exactly. It is something that tries to be a laugh and forgets how halfway out. She tilts her head at the sound. Then she smiles. A small, careful, brown-eyed smile. A child smiling at me. I feel something inside my chest crack. Not break. Crack. A small hairline thing. But I feel it. And I know. In the way an animal knows a storm that something is wrong with me now. Something has been let in. Something has not been let in for a very long time, and now it is in. I look up. The queen is watching us. She is not smiling. She is not crying. Her face is very still, but her hand is on her chest, fingers spread, and her eyes are wet. I look away first. The days bleed together. I do not know how many. 5, 7, maybe more. The wound in my side closes. The little girl learns more words. 3, 4, 6. She points at things and says them, and then she points at me and says them again like she is teaching me my own language. The queen begins to speak. It is slow. Her tongue does not know my sounds. Her words come out in the wrong order. But she tries. On the fourth or fifth night by a small fire. Yes, by then, I have allowed a small fire. She speaks her first full sentence to me. Your name. It is not a question. Not exactly. I am quiet for a long time. I do not give my name. I have not given my name in 20 years. The man on the ship who knows me is not me. He is a job, a trade, a function. But there is a fire, and there is a little girl asleep against the Queen's hip, and there is the slow, tired sound of waves. Draven. The Queen tries it. She rolls it on her tongue. Ven. Closer to a song than a word, the way she says it. She points at herself. Isolt. I had already known. From the contract. From Master Vorlanth. From 1,000 briefings. But hearing her say it in her own mouth, in her own voice, it is a different word entirely. She points at the sleeping child. Leora. Leora. The girl who stood between me and her aunt with her arms out. Leora. I say it back. Quiet. Just to feel it. Leora. Isolt nods. Then she looks at the fire for a long moment, and her face does something I do not have a name for. It is not a smile. It is not grief. It is the look of someone who has carried a stone for a very long time, and is for one moment allowed to set it down. My people, she says, and stops and tries again. My people. Aelinor. All gone. Her hand makes a small, tired gesture, like wind blowing leaves away. I know. I know better than she thinks I know. I have read the briefings. The Aelinor were a small, floating people, healers mostly. 18 years ago, they were burned out of their settlement, every man and woman and child of them, in a single long night. The reasons were political and ugly, and not interesting to me at the time. 18 years ago. I was 9. Master Vorlanth pulled me out of a burning village when I was 9. Something cold turns over in my stomach. I look at the fire. I say nothing. Only us, Isolt says. She brushes Leora's hair with the flat of her palm. Only us left. She stops. Her throat works. The word seems to cost her something. My sister, she says slow. Mira. She was Leora's mother. She did not come through that night. She cannot say more. She does not have to. I see the whole shape of it in her face. How old? I hear myself ask. She looks up. How old is she? 7. And you? 20 and 5. 25. So when her people died, she was 7. The age the child is now. I look at Leora's small face in the firelight, and for one horrible second, I see Isolt's face there, instead 7 years old, hiding under floorboards, listening to the world end. I have to look away. That night, I do not sleep at all. I sit on the beach. The fire is low behind me. The two of them are curled up together under the palm shelter, and Leora has one tiny hand fisted in the front of Isolt's dress, like she will not let go, even in dreams. I sit on the sand, and I look at the dark sea, and I try to find the man I was a week ago. He is not here. Some other man is in his body. I do not know him yet. He is quiet and confused, and his hand will not lift his blade, and he is afraid. I have not been afraid in 20 years. Master Vorlanth taught fear out of me by the time I was 12, and yet here I am, on a beach at the edge of the world, afraid. Behind me, I hear soft footsteps. I do not turn. She sits down. Not too close. Not too far. Close enough that I can hear her breathe. For a long time, neither of us speaks. Then, in her broken, slow, careful version of my language, she says, "I know." I close my eyes. "I know what you are. What you came to do." I do not move. I felt it. When I touched you. To heal. I felt the inside of you. A pause. I knew. I open my eyes. I look at her. She is looking at the water, not at me. Her profile in the dim light is very young and very, very tired. Then why? My voice does not sound like mine. Why did you save me? She is quiet for a long while. Then she turns her head and looks at me, and her eyes are clear and steady. Because of her. She nods toward the shelter, toward the small sleeping shape. In her eyes, there is no bad person. There is no kill. She does not know yet. She is the last child of my people. She swallows. And in her eyes, no one should have to die twice. I do not know what that means. Not exactly. I think it means something about the dying you do, and the dying that is done to you, and the difference between them. I think it means she could not let me die at her feet, even though she knew what I came to do, because the little girl was watching, and the little girl is still innocent. And innocence is the last thing her people have. I do not know what to say. I have no training for this. I lift my hand. I do not know why. I look at it like it belongs to someone else, the hand that has done what it has done, the hand that will not move now. I draw one of my blades, slow, careful. I do not point it at her. I lay it flat across my palms like an offering, and I set it down on the sand between us. Just one. Not both. I am not yet ready to be a man with no blades. But one I can put down. She looks at the blade in the sand. She looks at me. She does not smile. She does not thank me. She just nods. The same nod as before. I see you. I know who you are. I am still here. She gets up. She walks back to the shelter. She lies down beside the child. The child in sleep turns toward her. I sit on the beach with one blade at my hip and one blade in the sand beside me, and the sky in the east begins very faintly to lighten. I have lived my whole life in the dark, for the first time on this small, empty island with a sleeping child and a healer. Who will not hate me, I feel something that is not yet light. But it is not the dark either. It is something in between. And I do not know what I am anymore. Dawn comes gray. It always comes gray on this island. I do not think the sun has fully risen here since we washed up. Maybe it has. Maybe I have just stopped looking up. I am still on the beach when I hear it. The crunch of sand under a boot. Not Isolt's, not Leora's. Their footsteps I already know. A queen's footsteps are quiet but heavy. A child's footsteps are quick and uneven. This is neither. This is the footstep of someone trained. I do not turn. I do not stand. I just close my hand around the hilt of the blade I left in the sand last night. Don't, a voice says. I freeze. I know that voice. I know that voice better than I know my own. Don't pick it up, Draven. I'm not here to fight you. I turn my head slow. Tessa. She is alive. She is standing maybe 10 paces away at the tree line. Soaked. Thinner than I remember her being a week ago. There is dried blood on her side, and dried blood in her hair, and dried blood under her fingernails. Her eyes are the same eyes. They are tired, and they are looking at me like they have been looking for me for a long time. I stand up. How? How what? How are you alive? She almost smiles. Same way you are. Stubborn. You followed me. I followed the wreckage. Then I followed gulls. Then I followed instinct. Took me 5 days. She walks closer. Not fast. Hands open at her sides. The way I would walk toward a wounded animal. You look terrible, I say. You look worse. I'm not the one who's been sleeping in a tree. How do you know I've been sleeping in a tree? There's bark in your hair, Tessa. She runs a hand through her hair. Bark falls out. She laughs. Just once. Just a short, broken glass laugh. And for a second, she looks like she did when we were 16 before any of this, before the world got so heavy. Then her face goes flat again. Where are they? I do not answer. Draven. Where are they? Why? Because I need to know. Why? Because the Master sent me. There it is. The thing I have been waiting for. The thing I have been pretending was not coming. Master Vorlanth sent her. Of course he did. He always sends Tessa when the job is too important to leave to one of us. He knows, I say. He knows. How? You didn't come back. That's not enough to know. For him it is. I am quiet. She watches my face. Her eyes flick once to the trees behind me, to the small palm shelter just visible through the leaves. Her jaw tightens. There's a child. I don't speak. Draven, there's a child. Yes. Whose? Hers. Hers like hers. Hers like she has been raising her. Tessa breathes out long and slow through her nose. She turns her face up at the gray sky for a moment, the way someone does when they are trying not to scream, or trying not to cry, or trying not to do something they will regret. He didn't tell me about a child. I don't think he knew. He always knows. He didn't know. Her eyes come back to me. Did you do it? No. Are you going to? No. A long silence. She sits down. Right there. In the sand. Cross-legged, like she did when we were apprentices, when Master Vorlanth would make us wait for hours in the rain just to see who would shift first. She rests her wrists on her knees. I should kill you, she says. Conversational. Almost gentle. Try it. I said should, not will. I know. She looks at me for a long time. He's coming, Draven. Not me. Him. I sit down across from her. The sand is cold. The wound in my side pulls. I do not flinch. How long? Days, maybe a week. He's slower than he used to be. He's not slow. He is. She says it like a confession, like she has been carrying it. I look at her. What did you come here to tell me? I came to tell you to run. Run where? Anywhere. Past the storm line. Across the rim. The edge of the maps. He'll find you eventually, but you'll have time. Time to, I don't know. time to be something other than what he made you. I am quiet. She is quiet. Then she reaches inside her tunic. Slow, carefully, so I can see her doing it. She pulls out a folded square of leather. Small, old, the edges soft with handling. She holds it out to me. What is this? My mother's. Your mother is dead. I know that, Draven. I was there. I'm telling you what it is. I take it. The leather is greasy with age. I unfold it. Inside a piece of paper brown at the edges written on in a careful hand. Not Thesa's hand. Older, rounder, a woman's hand. I cannot read all of it. The ink is faded. Names, places, dates. What am I looking at? My mother had a friend. Before she met my father. Before she met Master Vorlanth. Before any of this. She is watching my face. The friend was Eleanor. The name lands in me like a stone in a still pond. My mother grew up next to their settlement. They traded. They danced at each other's weddings. My mother had pictures, drawings. She used to tell me about a girl with hands that glowed. I am very still. Then one night, 18 years ago, the settlement burned. My mother lost her friend. She lost a lot of people. She wrote down what she remembered because she was afraid she would forget. Why are you telling me this? Because she also wrote down a name. She leans forward. Draven. Ask the master what he was doing the night the Eleanor burned. Ask him directly. Look at his face when he answers. The wind off the water has gone quiet. The whole world has gone quiet. You're saying, I'm not saying anything. You are. I'm saying, ask him. I look at the paper in my hand. I do not understand most of the writing, but there is a name at the bottom. A man's name in the old hand, with a small note next to it. The note is in a kind of shorthand I do not know. The name is Vorlanth. I close the leather. I sit there for a long time holding it. Thessa stands up. She brushes sand off her pants. She does not ask for the leather back. I'm going. Where? Not here. Not back to him. Past the rim. I have a sister. Half-sister. I haven't seen her since I was 9. You have a sister. I never told you. He doesn't like attachments. Thessa. What? I do not know what. I say, I'm sorry. She looks at me for a long second. For what? For all of it. All of what? 20 years of it. She blinks. Her eyes are wet suddenly. She does not let the tears fall. She turns her head and looks at the ocean and waits until they go away. Don't be sorry, Draven. Be different. She walks past me. She does not look back. At the tree line, she stops. One last time. He won't fight you the way you remember. He'll fight you to teach you something. That's how he is. Whatever you do, listen to what he says before you decide what to do with the blade. Then she is gone into the green. I sit on the beach with the leather in my hand, and the gulls overhead, and the wound in my side, and the slow, tired sound of waves. And I think I have a sister, she said. I never knew that. I have known her for 20 years. We bled together. We slept back to back in the snow. And I never knew she had a sister. Master Vorlanth taught attachments out of us when we were children. He did not teach them out of her. She just hid them. She has been carrying a sister in her pocket for 20 years, and she never told me, because she knew what I would do with that information if he asked. I stand up. I go back to the shelter. Iseult is awake. She is sitting at the entrance. She has heard or she has felt that something happened. She does not ask. She just looks at me. I sit down next to her. Not too close. Not too far. The sand is warm where the sun has briefly touched it. I open my hand. The leather is in it. I do not show her what is inside. I just sit. And I hold it. And after a long time, she puts her own hand on the sand between us. Palm up, not touching me. Just open. I do not take it, but I do not move my hand away either. Behind us, Leora wakes up. She comes out of the shelter, rubbing her eyes with both fists. She sees me. She does not smile yet because it is morning, and her face is still soft with sleep. She walks over. She stops in front of Iseult. Then she looks at me. She tilts her head. She climbs into Iseult's lap. And then, without warning, without any signal, without any sense at all that the world should be allowed to do this to me, she leans sideways, out of Iseult's lap, onto mine. She puts her small head on my chest. She closes her eyes. She goes back to sleep. I cannot move. I am made of stone. I am made of every face I have ever ended. I am made of 20 years of cold mornings and colder nights, and a master who taught me that the hand belongs to the blade. I am the weapon the Aelinor were burned for. I am possibly the boy who survived, because the Aelinor cried over him. I do not know what to do with my arms. Iseult gently takes my left arm and lifts it. She places it across the small body of the child. She arranges my hand on Leora's back so that it rests there lightly, like it knows what it is doing. It does not know what it is doing, but it stays. Iseult leans back against the rock behind us. She closes her own eyes, the three of us, on the sand, in the gray light, with a child sleeping on the chest of a man who came to murder her. Inside me, something I had not noticed was clenched, begins very slowly to unclench. It is not love. I do not know what love is. I have never been taught. But it is the shape that love would fit into if love ever found me. The morning passes. I do not move. When Leora finally wakes up and slides off me to chase a small crab across the sand, I find that I cannot stand right away. Not from the wound, from something else. My legs do not feel like mine. My chest feels very strange, like someone has reached inside of it and rearranged the furniture without asking. I sit there. I watch Leora chase the crab. I watch Iseult watch Leora. In my head, very far away, very quietly, a voice that is not mine. A voice I half remember from when I was 9. A voice that was humming a song over me as something heavy lifted away. That voice says, "There you are." I almost answer it. The next afternoon, the sky changes. It does not get darker. It gets wrong. The color shifts. The clouds lose their shape. The waves slow down in a way that waves should not slow down. Iseult notices first. She stands up suddenly. She has been mending a tear in Leora's sleeve. The needle drops from her hand. They're coming. I am already on my feet. How many? I don't know. Many. How do you know? I feel it. The core. It pulls them. It always pulls them. I look out at the water. The shapes are far, but not as far as they should be. Long, low, dark, cutting the surface. 5, 6, 8 more. The bipedal monsters. They cannot swim exactly. They wade. They move through deep water, like men through tall grass, only their long heads and long arms above the surface. They are coming toward this island. They have found us. Leora. Isolde does not say it loud. She does not need to. The little girl is already running back from the surf, her small face white. She slips on the wet sand. She gets up. She runs into Isolde's arms. Boat, I say. There is no boat. We made one. We made a small one. 2 days ago. 2 days is enough. For 3 of us. For 3 of us. I am already moving. The boat is a poor thing. Driftwood lashed together with strips of vine. A square of palm leaves for a sail that will not take any real wind. I built it half because I needed something to do with my hands. I did not believe we would actually use it. Now I am throwing our small bag of water gourds into it. Now I am pushing it into the surf. Isolde. Now. She runs to me with Leora in her arms. She is fast. She does not look at the water. She does not look at the dark, wading shapes that are getting closer with every breath. She looks only at me, and at her child, and at the boat. We push off. The first monster reaches the shallows behind us as we clear the reef. It screams. The scream is wet and high and wrong. Other screams answer it from farther out. I row. The wound in my side opens. I feel it open. I keep rowing. Isolde sits in the back of the boat with Leora in her lap. Her hand is over Leora's eyes, and Leora is crying very softly into Isolde's shoulder. How far? I ask. To where? Anywhere. There is a coast, north, less than a day. Maybe. Then north. I row. I row for a long time. The rain begins again. Of course it does. The rain always begins when I am about to do something I cannot take back. The monsters are slower than the boat in deep water. We pull ahead. Within an hour we cannot see the island anymore. Within 2 we cannot see anything but gray water and gray sky and the long lines of rain. Then, just as I let myself begin to hope, 3 of them, closer than they should be. They have not given up. 2 are behind us. 1 has somehow swung wide and is now ahead, cutting across our path. Its long head rises and falls in the swell. Its eyes find us. It opens its mouth. Isolde. I see it. Hold her down. She presses Leora flat into the bottom of the boat. She crouches over her body between the child and the world. The monster ahead lunges out of a wave. I have been waiting for it. My blade takes it across the throat as it comes up over the gunwale. The blow is not clean. Not because my hand is bad, because the boat is bad. The boat lurches under me. The monster falls back with half its neck open, and the water churns black around it. Behind us, the other 2 are closer. I turn. I cut. The first goes into the water in pieces. The second gets a hand on the boat. A long gray clawed hand. It curls around the wood. It pulls. The boat tips. I feel myself going. Then a flash of pale blue. Isolde on her knees has thrown her hand out. Her palm is open. The light explodes from her fingers like a small sun. The monster's wrist hisses where the light hits it. It screams. It lets go. It falls back. The boat rights itself. I look at her. She is shaking. Her hand is shaking. There is blood on her side. A claw. The same claw. Before it let go, it raked her. She did not make a sound. I did not see it happen. She is bleeding into the bottom of the boat, into Leora's hair. Isolde. I'm fine. You are not fine. Row, Draven. Row. Please. I row. I row like my arms are not arms, like my body is not my body. The rain is louder. The waves are higher. Every time I look back at her, she is paler than the time before. Auntie. It is Leora's voice. Small. Lost. The first word I have ever heard her say in fear. Auntie. Isolde opens her eyes. When did she close them? And she smiles down at the child. The smile does not reach the rest of her face. The rest of her face is gray. I'm here, little one. You're bleeding. A little. Just a little. I row harder. The coast does not come. The rain comes. Isolde's voice comes soft behind me. Draven! I do not turn. If I turn, I will not be able to keep rowing. Draven, listen. I'm listening. Stop rowing. No. Stop. Just for a moment. I stop. I turn. She is leaning back against the side of the boat. Leora has crawled up onto her chest. Isolde's hand is on the small of Leora's back, very still, very careful, like she is memorizing the shape of it. Come here. I come. I kneel in the bottom of the boat in front of her. The rain runs into my eyes. She lifts one hand slow and puts her wet palm flat against the front of my chest, right over my heart. I have to tell you something. Tell me on the beach. We are almost there. We are almost Draven. I shut up. I am not going to live. You are going to live. Listen. I listen. The core, inside me. Your master sent you for it. I don't want it. I know you don't. Her hand is so cold. But I have to give it to someone. It cannot stay with me when I go. It has to live in someone. Isolde. Listen. I listen. I am going to put it in you. What? In your chest, where my hand is now. Why? Because I trust you. You shouldn't. I do. Isolde, Leora needs a father. The world stops again. I have heard those words before, once on a ship in a different version of my life. Don't let the little one see. Now this. Leora needs a father. In the bottom of a small boat. In the rain. From a dying woman. You are her father. What? You. Now. Yes. Isolde. Say yes. I open my mouth. I close it. I open it again. I do not know how to say yes. I have never said yes to anything important in my life. She does not wait for the word. She presses her hand harder against my chest. It is the same blue light I have seen twice now. But this time it is different. This time it is not on the outside. This time it is going in. I feel something alive slip out of her and into me. It moves through her wrist, through her palm, through my ribs. It finds a place beside my heart that I did not know was empty, and it sits down there. Not metal, not stone. Warm, steady, like a small second heart beating just a half step behind my own. It is the most extraordinary thing I have ever felt, and it is also somehow the most familiar. Isolde breathes out, a long, slow breath. The light fades from her hand. Her hand drops to her lap. She is smiling. She is smiling at me. There, she whispers. Now you have it. I am crying. I do not know when I started. I have not cried in 20 years. I did not know the parts that did the crying still worked. But there is water on my face that is not rain, and my throat hurts in a place that I have never used before. And Isolde is reaching her hand up very, very slowly, like even her hand weighs too much now, and brushing one of those tears off my cheek. You already had the light, Draven. I just finished it. Don't. Don't what? Don't go. I'm not gone yet. Don't. Hold the little one. Isolde. Hold her. I take Leora. Leora does not understand. She is still trying to climb back onto Isolde's chest. I lift her very gently, and I hold her against me, and I feel her small fists open and close in the front of my soaked shirt. Isolde watches us. Her eyes are bright. Her face is gray. That's right, she whispers. Just like that. Isolde. I'll be just here. She closes her eyes. She does not stop breathing. Not yet. But she goes very still. I sit there in the rain with a sleeping child against my chest and a dying queen at my feet. And inside me, in the place where her light has just gone, I hear something. Not with my ears, with somewhere else. Voices, many voices. Not loud, not afraid. They're not screaming. They're humming. Hundreds of them faint, layered like a choir very far away. Speaking a language I do not know. And then, threaded through the choir, one voice that I do know, even though I should not. It is the voice that hummed over me when I was 9. It says in my own language very clearly, "You were never a weapon child. You were always a good boy." I bow my head over Leora's hair, and I weep. The boat drifts. I do not know for how long. When it bumps against rocks, I look up. We have hit a coast, not a beach. A rough shore of black stones and green moss and dripping caves. The rain has thinned to a fine mist. Isolde is still breathing. Shallow. Slow. Alive. Alive. I do not understand why she is alive. I thought she was leaving. She seems to be staying. For now, holding on by a thread I cannot see, I lift her into my arms. She is light. She is too light. She has poured most of herself into me, and there is not much of her left. And I am afraid for her, in a way I have never been afraid for anyone, including myself. I take Leora's small, wet hand in my free one. I walk, up the rocks, into the trees. There is a small, dry place under an overhang of stone. I lay Isolde down. I cover her with my own coat, the only dry thing I have. Leora curls up next to her. Leora is shivering. Leora's lips are blue. "No," I say. I say it out loud. "To no one. To the rocks. No, No, no. She is going to be sick. She is too cold. She is too small. I have killed 200 men. 300. I do not know how to keep one little girl warm. I gather wood. There is dry wood under the overhang. I have flint. I have always had flint. I make a fire. I am clumsy. The first spark dies. The second dies. On the fifth, the moss catches. I pull Leora against me, inside my shirt, skin to skin. She is so small. Her little ribs are right there under my palm, lifting and falling so fast it scares me. It's okay. I've never said that to anyone. It's okay, little one. It's okay. You're okay. She shivers harder, and then a little less, and then her shivering slows. She presses her cold cheek against my collarbone. She whispers something in her own language. I do not know what. It is a small, soft word. I hold her. I do not sleep all night. The fire burns low. I keep feeding it. Isolde breathes. Leora breathes. The small, new heart in my chest beats steady, steady, steady alongside my own. In the dark behind my eyes, the choir hums. In the dark in front of me, the fire crackles. Sometime before dawn, I find myself singing. Not a song I know, not a song I have ever sung. A small, slow, broken thing, halfway between a hum and a memory. The melody is the same melody I have not been able to place since I was 9 years old. The melody that floated above me when something heavy was lifting away. I sing it to Leora. I do not know the words. She does not need them. She sleeps. In the morning the sun comes up. I have not seen the sun fully come up in years. I have been too busy not looking. The light hits the rocks. It hits the moss. It hits the tip of Leora's small ear sticking out of my shirt. I sit there with one arm around a sleeping child and one hand resting on the cold forehead of an unconscious queen. And I watch the light move. Behind me on a flat stone near the mouth of the cave, sitting cross-legged, like he has been there all night, is a man. I knew before I looked. Master. Boy. He has not called me boy in 15 years. You were faster than I thought you'd be, he says. I had reason. I see. He is older than the last time I saw him. I had not noticed how much older he had gotten. His shoulders are narrower. His hair is whiter at the temples. His hands rest on his knees, palms up the way Isolde's hands rested when she did not want to hold a weapon. Sit with me, he says. Eat. There is a fish on a flat stone between us. He has cooked it. He is 62 years old. He found me when I was 9. I have been his student for 20 years. I have killed for him. I have bled for him. I would have died for him a week ago if he had asked. I do not know what I will do now. I lay Leora down very carefully next to Isolde. I tuck the coat around them both. Leora makes a small sound. She does not wake. I walk to the stone. I sit across from my master. We eat fish in silence. When the fish is gone, he wipes his hands on his trousers, and he looks up at me, and his eyes are not the eyes I remember. Or maybe they are. Maybe I never looked at them closely enough. Ask me, he says. Ask you what? What you came here ready to ask. I look at him for a long time. The new heart in my chest beats. The choir in my head is silent now, listening. Master. Boy. What were you doing the night the Eleanor burned?" His face does not move, but somewhere behind his face, behind his mouth, behind his old gray eyes, behind 20 years of training and discipline and lessons about the hand and the blade, something cracks. He takes a long breath in. He lets it out. He says, "I was lighting the fires, Draven. I was lighting the fires myself." Part 3. The words sit between us like a body. I do not move. Behind me in the cave, Iseult is breathing shallow. Leora is sleeping. The new heart in my chest is hammering. My old heart is hammering. They are not in time with each other. I feel like I am about to come apart at the seam between them. Why? He looks at the fire. Because I was paid. Why? Because I believed what I was told, that they were dangerous, that their gift was a weapon. Why? Because I was a different man. I am on my feet. I do not remember standing. Both blades are in my hands. He does not stand. He does not draw. He just sits there on the flat stone, and he looks up at me with the same gray eyes he has had since the day he pulled me out of the floor. "Sit down, boy. Don't call me that. Sit down. Don't. Sit. Down." I do not sit, but I do not strike. My arms hum. My hands hum. 20 years of training all telling me the same thing. 20 years of training and one small new heart telling me something different. Tell me the rest. I will. All of it. All of it. He takes a breath. His chest moves. I watch it move. I watch the chest of the man who taught me how to stop other chests from moving. "There was a village," he says. "Not Eleanor. A small one. Half a day's walk from their settlement." I know. Do you? It was mine. He looks at me a long time. It was. Say it. It was your village. Say all of it. We did not mean to burn it. The Eleanor settlement was the target. The wind changed. The fire took the next valley. By the time we noticed, your village was gone. 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 Say it, Master. I am saying it. Say what you did. I gave the order to set the first fire, the first torch. I did not throw it. I gave the order. The result is the same. Your people died because of me. The new heart kicks. Hard. I lower one blade. Not both. One. Keep talking. After. When the fires were dying, we walked through what was left to find the survivors and finish them, because that is the kind of thing we did then. His voice is flat. He is not making it pretty for me. I found you under the floorboards of a house that had not fully collapsed. There was a woman near you. She was gone, but her arms were around the floor like she had been holding the boards down over you, to hide you. I cannot breathe. You were 9. I was 9. You were so small. I say nothing. I was supposed to kill you. You were. I could not. Why? I do not know. Why? I do not know, Draven. I have asked myself for 20 years. I do not know. You took me. I took you. You raised me. I raised you. You taught me to do what you had just done. His face does something then. Something his face is not built for. It crumples. Just for a second. Just at the corners of his mouth and the bridge of his nose. He puts a hand up and rubs the spot between his eyes. Yes. Why? Because I was afraid. Of what? Of you growing up gentle in a world that would eat you. Because the world had just eaten your mother. Because I had just helped it do that. Because I told myself that if I made you hard enough, fast enough, sharp enough, the world would not be able to take you the way it took her. So I made you a knife, so nothing could cut you again. Because He stops. He swallows. Because I did not know how to love a child any other way. The wind comes up off the sea. It moves the moss. It moves my hair. It moves nothing in him. You should have left me. Yes. You should have walked away. Yes. I would have died. Maybe. I would have died small, as a child, not like this, not having done what I have done. Yes. You took those deaths from me, and you put them in my hands. Yes. I am not crying. My face is wet. I do not know which is rain and which is mutti. Stand up, I say. Draven. Stand up. Boy. Master. You don't have to do this. I have to. You don't. You owe a debt. I do. Stand up and pay it. He stands up. He does not draw. He just stands. I lift both blades. He says very quietly, if this is what you need, do it. I will not lift a hand. And of course, that is the worst thing he could have said, because if he fought me, I could finish it. If he fought me, I could be the blade he made me, doing what the blade does. And I would have my answer, and the choir in my chest would go quiet, and Iseult, when she woke up, would see a man who had taken his revenge. But he is not fighting. He is standing, with his hands open. The way she stood on the ship with the child behind her. The two of them in different bodies are both refusing to give me permission to be the thing he taught me to be. My arms shake. My arms have never shaken. Master, I am here. Lift your blade. No. Lift it. No, boy. I cannot do this if you... I know. Please. It is the first time in my life I have used that word with him. He nods, just once, like he understands. He says, then do not do it. You deserve it. I do. Then, but you do not deserve to be the one who does it. I drop the blades, both of them. They hit the rock. The sound is small. I sit down, hard, on the stone, my head in my hands. The new heart in my chest is so loud now I can hear it in my teeth. After a while I feel his hand, old, light, resting on my hair. He has never touched my hair. In 20 years, he has never once touched my hair. He says, I see the light in you, boy. I don't have any light. You do. It is not the light I gave you. I never had any to give. It is hers. I cannot answer. 5 days, he says. What? They are coming. The horde. All of them. They will follow the core. They will be at the Aelinor ruins in 5 days. How do you know? Because I know how to read them. I have been hunting them since the day they came up out of the dead lands. I am sorry, boy. There is no time to grieve before this. After. We grieve after. I look up at him. We. He almost smiles. You did not think you were going alone, did you? Yes. No. Master. Vorlanth. My name is Vorlanth. You are old enough to use it. I cannot say it. Try. Vorlanth. It comes out wrong. He does not laugh. He pats my shoulder once. Then he stands up. Get her to the ruins, the healing place, where the last of her people lay down. She will be stronger there. So will the core. So will you. I do not know the way. I do. He walks past me into the cave. He kneels slowly, his old knees protesting beside Isolde and Leora. He does not touch them. He just looks, for a long moment. Then he pulls something from inside his coat, a small leather pouch. He sets it on the stone beside Isolde's hand. What is that? Aelinor herbs, from a garden I have kept in secret for 18 years, for the day I had the courage to give them back. He stands up. I will meet you at the ruins. 5 days. Do not be late, boy. Vorlanth. What? Don't die before I get there. He almost smiles again. I will try. He walks out into the morning and the sun is on his back. And for the first time in my life, I notice that he limps a little on his left leg. He has limped my entire life. I never noticed. We sail for nearly 3 days. A small skiff Vorlanth left for us in a hidden cove. Practical of him. Annoying of him. The kind of thing he would do. The water gets darker as we go north. Not dirtier. Deeper. As if the sea itself is in mourning. Isolde wakes on the 2nd day. Slowly. Like someone climbing a long stairs out of a basement. She opens her eyes, and the first thing she sees is Leora curled against her side. The second thing is me at the tiller watching her. She tries to smile. It takes her 2 attempts. You're alive. You're alive, I say back. You sound surprised. I am surprised. Don't be. She looks down at herself, at the bandages, at my coat tucked around her, at Leora's hand small and tight in hers. Then she looks at my chest. She does not have to ask. She knows. She lifts her free hand. She lets it hover over my heart. The blue light, very faint, comes back to her fingertips. Then it fades. It's home in there, she says, soft. Isolde. What? You were dying. Yes. Why aren't you? Because you didn't let me. You held me. You held her. You sang to her. I didn't. I heard it from wherever I was. I heard you sing. I have to look away. She closes her eyes again, not unconscious, just resting. Leora wakes a little later. She climbs into my lap without asking. She has stopped asking. Papa. It is the first time. I do not move. Papa. I look down at the top of her small, dark head. I am not. Yes. Isolde says, eyes still closed. He is. Leora pats my chest. Right over the new heart. The way you pat a horse or a friend, or a thing you love. Papa, she says, again satisfied. I do not correct her. I do not correct her. The ruins come into view at sundown of the 3rd day. They are worse than I expected. They are also more beautiful than I expected. The Aelinor settlement was a floating city half on water, half on stilts. A ring of pale stone buildings around a central plaza, all of it lit in the old days by the soft glow of healers' hands. Now it is broken, half sunk, roofs caved in, stilts snapped. The pale stone is streaked black with old fire, but still standing in the center is the plaza, a circle of stone, cracked but whole, open to the sky. Iseult sees it, and her breath catches. "That is where they laid the dead," she says. "All of them. All of them." I take us in slow, past the broken buildings, past floating timbers that used to be doors, past one small wooden boat half crushed with a faded child's painting on the side. Leora reaches out toward the painting as we drift past. She does not touch it. She just reaches. We tie up at what is left of a dock. I lift Iseult out of the boat. She is stronger than yesterday. She can walk with my arm around her. Leora walks on her other side. The three of us cross the plaza. The silence here is the kind of silence that hurts your ears. No birds, no wind. The sky over the ruins is a soft, low gray, like an old quilt held over a bed. In the center of the plaza, Iseult stops. She kneels. She puts both hands on the cracked stone. She closes her eyes. She begins to sing. It is not a song with words. It is the same melody I have been hearing in my head since the new heart moved in. The same melody I sang badly to Leora on the cold rocks 2 nights ago. The melody that hummed over me when I was 9. It comes out of her like water. The stones glow. Not bright. Soft. The way Iseult's hands glow. Pale blue all along the cracks in the plaza like veins. And then they come. The dead. Not bodies. Not bones. Light. Hundreds of them. Rising out of the stones, out of the cracks, out of the broken buildings. Small figures of pale blue light. Tall ones. Short ones. Children. Old men. Women in long robes. They drift up like smoke, but they have shapes. They have faces. Leora makes a small sound and grabs my coat. "It is all right, little one." Papa. Who? Family. All of them. All of them. She presses her face into my side. The lights gather. They drift toward Iseult. They form a circle around her. They watch her sing. Some of them are crying. You can see it on their light faces. Crying without water. The way only the dead can cry. One of the lights detaches from the circle. It is a woman. Older. Her face is gentle. Her hair is long. Her hands, when she lifts them, glow like Iseult's. She does not walk to Iseult. She walks to me. I cannot move. She stops in front of me. She looks up. She is shorter than me, the kind of woman who in life would have stood on her toes to kiss her son's forehead. She smiles. She speaks. I do not know her language, but I know what she is saying. The words land in me without translation, the way the choir landed in me when Iseult put the light into my chest. She says, "There you are." She says, "I have been waiting a long time." She says, "I was so afraid you had grown up cruel." I drop to my knees. It is not a decision. It is gravity. My legs simply stop holding me. I kneel on the cracked stone, and the woman of light kneels in front of me, and Leora. Leora brave. Leora, who should be terrified, does not let go of my coat. "Who is she?" Leora whispers. "I don't know." "Yes, you do." I look at the woman of light. She nods. The hum of the choir comes louder. Threaded through it the same single voice as before. The voice from the floorboards. The voice from when I was 9. "Child, you came home." "You hid me," I whisper. She nods. "You held the floor down." She nods. You were not from my village." She shakes her head, slowly, smiling. "You were Eleanor." She nods. "You were Eleanor, and you came to my village, and you saved me." She nods. "Why?" She smiles. She lifts her hand. She touches my cheek. I feel it. Not warm, not cold. Just there. The way a memory touches you. She says in her own tongue what I now somehow understand. "Because every child is one of mine." I bow my head. I cry like I am 9 years old. Isolde, still singing, does not stop. Cannot stop. The song is what is holding the dead up. But she opens her eyes just for a moment, and she looks at me, and tears run down her face too. The Eleanor woman of light leans forward. She puts her forehead against mine. She says very quietly in my own language, in a voice I should not be able to hear with my ears, "You came back. Not as a knife, as a shield. That is all I needed." She begins to fade. "No." She smiles. "No, please." She lifts her hand from my cheek. She looks past me. She looks at Leora. She gives Leora a small nod, like grandmother to granddaughter. Leora very seriously nods back. Then the woman of light steps back into the circle. The circle of light tightens around Isolde. She sings the last long note of the song, and it does not end. Exactly, it just becomes part of the wind. The lights settle. They do not vanish. They sink down into the stones, into the cracks, into the plaza. The blue veins pulse once, twice, 3 times. Then the silence comes back. But it is not the same silence. The silence has changed. It is no longer empty. It is full. The way a house is full, even when no one is speaking. Isolde opens her eyes. She looks at me. I am still on my knees. She comes to me. She kneels in front of me. She takes my face in both hands. "You see now." "Yes, you were always one of ours." "I see now. That is what I felt the first time I touched you." "You knew." "I felt it." "You let me live for that." "I let you live because you were a person. The rest I just recognized." I lean my forehead against hers. Leora climbs into both our laps without being invited. She does not understand all of what just happened. She does not need to. She is 7. She knows what a hug is. She has decided we need one. Above us, the gray sky begins to darken. It is not night. It is too soon for night. Isolde lifts her head. She looks east. I look east. The horizon is moving. It is not water moving. It is bodies moving. A long, low, dark line on the sea. Hundreds of long heads above the waves. Hundreds of long arms. The horde. All of them. Isolde does not panic. She stands. She lifts Leora into her arms. She looks at me. How long? An hour. Maybe less. Then we have an hour. Isolde. Take her. What? Take her. Find a place. Hide her. The deepest cellar that is still dry. I will hold them as long as I can. You hold them as long as you can. We do not have to win. We only have to Isolde. What? Look. I am pointing past her shoulder, not at the sea, at the land. Coming down the broken road into the plaza on foot in the gray afternoon light are 11 men. The first is Vorlanth. The second is Thessa. The other 9 I have not seen in years, but I know every face. Old apprentices, colleagues, old killers, older now, walking with a limp here, a missing finger there. People I did not know Vorlanth had ever forgiven, or who had ever forgiven him. Thessa sees me. She lifts her chin. She does not smile exactly. She nods. I should not have a sister. But maybe I do. Vorlanth stops in front of me. He looks at the plaza, at the faintly glowing veins in the stone, at Leora in Isolde's arms, at my chest where the new heart is beating. You found her people. They found me. Good. Vorlanth. What? You came. I told you I would. You brought them. They volunteered. All of them. All of them. He turns to look at the sea, at the long, dark line getting closer. Boy. What? I owe a blood debt to her people. I know. I'm going to pay it today. Vorlanth. Don't! Vorlanth, I don't. His voice is rougher than I have ever heard it. He does not look at me when he says it. He keeps his eyes on the sea. You took everything from me, I say, and you also gave me everything I have. I do not know how to feel both of those at once. Neither do I, boy, but we don't have time for it now. Sharpen your blades. They're sharp. Sharpen them anyway. I almost laugh. It is not a real laugh. It is the same broken sound Thessa made on the beach. But it is mine, and it is real. I sharpen my blades. The horde reaches the docks. They come up out of the water in a wave. Long legs, long arms, mouths too wide. Hundreds of them. The first ones break themselves on Vorlanth and the 9. The plaza becomes a place of noise. I will not describe it, all of it. There is too much of it. There is too much of this kind of thing in the world already, and I have done too much of it myself. Let it be enough to say we fight. We fight together. Old killers turned old guardians. A queen with hands of light. A man with a new heart in his chest. A small girl tucked into a stone alcove with an Aelinor woman's faded ribbon around her wrist. The blue veins in the plaza glow brighter as we fight. I do not know if it is Isolde, or the dead, or both. The light goes up the legs of the monsters that step on it. They scream when they touch the stones. The dead Aelinor are not gone. They are just deeper down. And they remember whose home this was. Vorlanth fights like a man 20 years younger, for the first 10 minutes. Then he fights like a man his age. Then like a man older. I see him take a wound to the arm. He does not stop. I see him take another to the leg. He does not stop. The limp I never noticed is suddenly a real limp. He keeps fighting. A queen monster breaks through our line, the biggest of them. Long, pale, eyeless, mouth like a wound. It comes for Iseult. Vorlanth gets there first. Of course he does. He puts himself between the thing and her. He takes the blow meant for her in the center of his chest. He does not fall. Not at first. He stays on his feet, and he drives his old long blade up under the queen monster's jaw, and the thing screams once and folds sideways into the stones. Then he falls. I am running. I do not remember starting. I am beside him. He is on his back on the cracked stone. The veins are glowing under him. His own blood is on the stones. His hand is on his chest on the place where the wound is, and the wound is bad. The wound is the last wound. Don't, boy, don't. Listen. I lift his head into my lap. He is so light. He has always been a tall man. I never realized how light tall men can become. You are the son I was never brave enough to call mine. Vorlanth. Live for both of us. I can't. You can. You will. You have her now. He looks past me, at Iseult, at Leora peeking out from her stone alcove. He smiles. The smile is real. The smile is the first real smile I have ever seen on his face. That is enough. His hand finds mine. He squeezes. Then he doesn't. I cry over him for a long time, or what feels like a long time. It is probably less than a minute. The battle is still going. The queen monster is dead, but its kind is not all dead. Iseult comes to me. She puts her hand on the back of my neck. She does not pull me away. She just stays there, steady. He's gone. I know. Iseult, I know. She pulls me up. The remaining monsters are coming. Maybe 40. Maybe 50. The 9 are wounded. Thassa has blood pouring down one side of her face. We are not going to make it on swords. Iseult takes my hand. She presses my palm flat against her own chest over her heart. What are you doing? Both at once. Iseult. My light. Your core. Both at once. Now. I don't know how. You do. You sang to her. You held her. You let me give it to you. You already know how. Iseult. Now Draven. I close my eyes. The choir comes up. The blue veins in the plaza come up. The new heart in my chest comes up. Iseult's hand under mine comes up. The little girl in the alcove watching us comes up. Everything I love comes up. All at once, I open my eyes, and the light goes out of us. Not a beam, not a sword. A wave. A wide, slow, gentle wave of pale blue light that washes across the plaza, across the docks, across the water. It does not burn. It does not cut. It just passes through. Wherever it touches a living thing of our side, the wounds close a little. Wherever it touches one of them, the thing simply stops. They sit down where they are. They lower their long heads. They breathe out once, and they do not breathe in again. It is over in a single long breath. Then Iseult's knees buckle. I catch her. She is laughing. Quietly, with tears running down her face. Mira would have loved that, she whispers. Yes. She always said we were too gentle to win a fight. Isolde, I'm okay, Draven. Are you? Yes, I'm just very tired. Take me to Leora. I carry her to the alcove. Leora is waiting. Leora is brave. Leora climbs out and puts her small arms around both of us. The three of us sink down onto the warm, glowing stones of the plaza. Isolde looks up at the sky. The gray is breaking. Not into night, into something else. The clouds, for the first time since I have known her, are pulling apart. A thin, careful gold light comes through. She closes her eyes against it. She smiles. The rain has stopped, she says. I look up. It has. The fine mist that has been on us since the boat is gone. I look down at her, at the woman who would not let me kill her, at the woman who poured her own life into me, at the woman who somehow, against everything, is going to live. Isolde. What? Stay. I'm staying. Promise. I promise. A year passes. It is strange to say it like that. A year. As if the year was not the longest year of my life. As if it was not also the shortest. The Aelinor ruins are not ruins anymore. Not all of them. We have rebuilt the central plaza. The pale stones are pale again. We have raised 5 small houses around the edge. 3 more will be done by winter. People have come back. Quietly. One by one. Aelinor descendants who were hidden in other towns when the burning happened. Children of children of children. They had heard rumors that the Queen had survived. Now they know. They come and they bring their own families, and the plaza fills up with footsteps and laughter, and the small, constant business of being alive. Leora is 8. She is taller. She is louder. She has a gap in her front teeth where she lost one, and she shows it to anyone who will look. She is learning to read in 2 languages at once. She does not always sleep in our bed anymore. Sometimes she does. She still calls me Papa. She has not stopped. Isolde is well. She still tires easily. She still needs to sit when she sings the old songs. The doctor there is a doctor now, an Aelinor doctor, soft-handed, and patient says her body did things. Bodies are not built to do, and we are going to have to be careful with her for the rest of her life. We are being careful with her. She is also pregnant. 5 months. She started showing in the spring. She came down to the plaza one morning, and her hand was on her stomach, and she was smiling at me from across the stones, and I almost dropped the basket of fruit I was carrying. I did not drop it. I am still proud of myself for that. Leora is going to be a big sister. She has views on this. She has informed us that the baby must be a girl, that the baby must like seashells, and that the baby must call her Leora and not sister, because sister is a job and Leora is a name. We have agreed to all of her terms. Thessa lives in the 3rd house from the dock. She has built a school. She teaches the Aelinor children to read, and the older boys who want to learn how to defend the village to defend it kindly. She has not, as far as I know, ever told her sister where she is. Her sister, she says, is busy living her own life and does not need a wandering sword on her doorstep. I think about asking why she does not write. I do not ask. We do not always have to ask. She cried at Vorlanth's grave the day we buried him, the only one of us who really cried out loud. She had loved him too. We had all loved him too. We just had not known how to say it. There is a stone for him at the edge of the plaza, not in the center. He told me once that he did not deserve to be in the center, and I did not argue. But I put fresh flowers on his stone every morning. Leora helps. She picks the small white ones with the yellow eyes. She says they look like him. I do not know how a flower can look like a man, but she is 8, and I have learned to trust her. Sometimes on bad nights, I go to his stone alone. I sit in front of it. I do not know what to say, so I say what is true. You were not a good father, Vorlanth, but you were the only one I had, and in the end, you tried. The wind moves the flowers. I take it as an answer. I do not carry blades anymore. This was not a decision. It was a slow noticing. One morning, I went to put them on, and they were not where I left them, and I realized I had not put them anywhere on purpose for weeks. They were in a chest. The chest was under our bed. They were rusting a little because I was not oiling them. I did not start oiling them. I left them where they were. Iseult saw, and did not say anything. She just put her arms around my waist from behind and rested her cheek against my back, and that was all. I teach the children of the village how to plant. I am not good at it. I am better than I used to be. The first season my rows were crooked. Leora laughed at them. The second season, my rows were straighter. The third season, the children copied my rows, and the rows had a name, Papa Rose. I was very proud of Papa Rose. I will never tell anyone how proud I was. I also teach the older children, the ones who ask how to defend themselves, but not the way I was taught. I teach them how to stand, so that no one can throw them. How to take a wrist out of a grippus without breaking the wrist. How to make it look like you are still scared, even when you are not, so the bigger one will lower his guard. How to run in a straight line for a long time. How to know when not to fight at all. I do not teach them how to kill. If they ever need that, I will know I have failed them. So far, I have not failed them. The rain still comes, but not the way it used to come. It comes for the gardens. It comes for the cisterns. It comes the way rain is supposed to come, useful. Slow drumming on the new roofs of the new houses, making the children inside laugh. I stand on the porch sometimes and let it fall on my face. It does not feel like a warning anymore. It feels like a small, wet hand of an old woman saying, "There. There. That is over now." On the anniversary of the day we came to the ruins, Iseult and I take a walk down to the docks at sunset. She is bigger now. She walks slowly. I walk slowly with her. Leora has run on ahead, with her own small canvas bag, picking up shells, talking to herself in 2 languages. Iseult takes my hand. Draven. What? Look at her. I look at Leora, bent over a tide pool, brown hair tangled, both arms in the water, saying something to a crab. She's grown. She is. She doesn't remember the ship. No. She doesn't remember the boat. Some, I think. Not as a memory, as a feeling. She is afraid of storms. I know. That will pass. Maybe. We watch our daughter chase a wave. Iseult leans her head against my shoulder. Tell me what you used to think. About what? About the rain. I almost laugh. Of course she remembers. I used to think the rain always fell when I went out to kill. And now I think it falls so things can grow. Yes, and so I can remember. Remember what? That it is never too late to start over. She squeezes my hand. Leora comes running back, soaked to the knees with 3 shells, and a piece of green sea glass, and a story about the crab. She tells the story very seriously. Isolde listens, like the story is the most important news in the world. I listen, because Isolde is listening. The sun goes down behind the broken buildings of the old settlement, and the new houses light their lamps one by one, and the plaza begins to glow faintly, the way it has glowed every night since we sang The Dead Awake. I put one arm around Isolde. I put one hand on Leora's small, wet head. I look up at the sky. The first stars are coming out. Behind me in the chest under our bed, 2 old blades are still rusting, and I hope they keep rusting, and I think they will. I am 29 years old. I have killed more people than I can count. I have also held a sleeping child against my chest, and felt a queen pour her life into me, and watched an old man die, saying he was proud of me, and kissed a woman with light in her hands. I do not know how to weigh those against each other. I do not think I am supposed to. I think I am only supposed to keep planting, keep teaching, keep listening, keep loving the woman beside me, and the daughter at my hand, and the small new life on its way, and the village around us, and the people who came before, and the man who broke me and tried in the end to put me back together. I think that is the work. I think the work is enough. Above us, very gently, the rain begins again. Isolde turns her face up to it. Leora opens her mouth to catch it. I close my eyes, and I let it fall.